EA College Football 25 gets massive news. The CFP is already expanding, and we haven't even played the expanded playoffs yet. Plus, the NHL is like a locomotive chugging along. All that and next on your 10-minute sports report.
Did we just see everything we just saw?
Hello and welcome. I'm Captain Boring, and I am your host for your 10-minute sports report. Today is Thursday, the 22nd of February, 2023. Welcome everyone for being here. Subscribe and like that button down below. Go follow us on Instagram at 4th and 1 podcast. It's all spelled out. All the words 4th and 1 podcast. All the words. Go follow us on Instagram, drop a like, and share us with your family and friends. We got some massive news about EA College Football 25, EA Sports College Football 25, and we will jump right in without delay. For 11,000 college football players, Thursday will be the first day they can opt in, writes Michael Rothstein, an ESPN staff writer. EA Sports College Football 25, players will now get paid for it. In the past, and why this video game right here. This video game was the last video game to be released. Yes, I still have it. Yes, I still have an Xbox 360. And yes, I still play this. This was the last video game, the NCAA college football video game to be released. They are changing the name. It will no longer be called NCAA football. It will now be called EA Sports College Football. And then whatever year will precede it. In this case, it is 2025. EA Sports has finalized the largest NIL deal of its kind. 85 players per school will initially appear on rosters and can begin the opt-in process. All athletes who opt in to have their name, image, and likeness appear in the video game will eventually receive $600 for every year they're in the video game and decide to opt in, plus a copy of the game that typically is valued at $70. Ladies and gentlemen, if there's a way for me to pay more money to play it any earlier than the release date, I will be doing that, just to let you know. Athletes would remain in the game for their entire career, but could opt out of future editions if they so choose. Athletes who remain in the game for multiple years will be paid annually, as previously stated, and players who transfer will continue to be compensated as long as they are on a roster. EA Sports Vice President of Business Development, Sean O'Brien, says, "We feel very proud that we'll be the largest program and likely the highest spending program, and really an inclusive opportunity with equitable distribution of funds across the board." To help arrive at the $600 payment, O'Brien said EA Sports looked at Madden series, NHL series, as well as the soccer series that they have. They are expected, I want to see the number, but spend around $6 million on NIL, the largest of its kind. So EA Sports will be the largest NIL dealer, in quotation marks. Don't really know another word for that. All 134 schools have agreed to be in the game. If you go, right now on my personal Instagram, I've been kind of posting all that, posting banners of Michigan joining, have agreed to be in the game after the biggest potential holdout, Notre Dame, I'll get to them in just a minute, announced Tuesday it would participate. no FCS schools will be in the game at the launch. That tells me that that's just way too much to provide the game in the summer. So will that probably be a patch or an upgrade later in the game, later in the year? I would have to guess. And that is happening. Kirk Herbstreit will also wrote on S that he's proud to be a partner for his 14th appearance in the game series, which has been on hiatus since that 2014 copy. Speaking of Notre Dame, well, it came out, when was this released? Last evening, I believe? Yes, last night, right before I went to bed at 8:40 p.m. that an idea of a 14 college football playoff team starting in 2026 was discussed at the CFP meeting in Dallas on Wednesday, just months before the start of the first season of the 12-team playoff. So we're already talking expansion, and we haven't even played expansion football yet. The CFP director, Bill Hancock, acknowledged the idea was discussed, but declined to provide specific details, saying there's still a lot of work to be done, with CFP officials pushing to finalize a deal for a television contract for the next 8 years. 3 lingering issues remain unresolved: access, distribution of money, and governance. The last 2, obviously the biggest. Writes Pete Thamel and Heather Dinich for ESPN. I will say this, and then this kind of rolls into the Notre Dame issue that I forementioned just a little bit ago. I am all for playoff teams. NFL has 14 teams. This should have 14 teams. That's fine. I am all fine and dandy with that. The problem is we don't even know if 12 teams can work. These still are college athletes. Will they still be able to take finals, go to class, et cetera, et cetera? All of that still needs to be addressed. Also, 2026. So we're going into 2024. So we'll just have 2 years. The committee also approved a 5+7 model. So now we'll take the 5 highest conference champions, not Power 5 highest conference champions. So that can be anyone from any conference, plus the next 7 highest ranked teams. Notre Dame is having a problem because Notre Dame isn't part of any conference. Therefore, Notre Dame could go 13-0 and play USC and Clemson and Duke and whoever, Michigan if they put them, Ohio State if they put them on the schedule. They could go 13-0, be ranked number 1 in the country, and because they're not part of a conference, be the number 5 seed and never get a first round bye. Now, they would host a playoff game, and that would be cool. And that would be cool to see, and their fans would appreciate that. But their butt hurt. And to that I say, Notre Dame, you haven't won a national championship since 1988. Get over yourself. You're not that important. And I know that your TV deal with NBC makes you seem like you're hoity-toity and that touchdown Jesus rules the college football landscape. And to your credit, you have made 2 college football playoff appearances. However, to your uncredit, that coach is no longer there. And in both of those college football playoff appearances, you managed to get mollywopped by no less than 20 points. So don't come at me with your complaints that this is unfair to you when you're just being a greedy, stuck-up only child of 2 rich doctors. That is what you are being, and you need to get over yourself. Join a conference, either Big Ten, SEC, ACC. If you join ACC, they would owe you so much, so you might as well just join there because you already play an ACC schedule, basically. But basically, do whatever you want, but do not at me or at anyone that this is unfair to you when you're just being a greedy, selfish, only child of 2 doctors. I thought that was very well put. But now it's time to catch you up on NHL scores. Monday, let's backtrack to Monday. Anaheim visited Buffalo. Cold and snowy Buffalo. A team from California should not be able to compete. I get it, games inside and all arenas, same temperature, blah, blah, blah. It's the aesthetics of the highlight, okay? And by highlight, I mean just me talking at you. Anaheim Ducks visited Buffalo, and the California team got her done 4-3 in a thriller. Detroit visited rainy Seattle. I don't know if it's rainy. I just always picture Seattle raining in Seattle, and won in overtime. Seattle has had more overtime wins and losses, I think, than any other team. And I have no proof of that because I don't have a statistic for that. But every time I read a Seattle Kraken highlight, they get it's an overtime loss, overtime win, overtime loss, overtime. Like they're an overtime or a shootout or something every single time. Meanwhile, Vegas traveled to San Jose and got back on their winning ways 4-0 over the Sharks. On Tuesday, Vancouver, the Canucks, one of the best teams, the best team points-wise in the NHL, visited Colorado, and they regretted that almost immediately. 3-1 win for the Avalanche in Colorado. Ryan Johansson was the top player in that game, 3-1. Nashville visited Vegas and got a 5-3 win. Vegas, since a strong start for the first 3 months, has fallen off significantly. We'll get to the standings in just a minute, but that Vancouver loss to Colorado is coming up huge, as a former president once said. Columbus on Wednesday visited Anaheim, the Ducks, and treated the Ducks like the worst team in the National Hockey League, beating them 7-4. Edmonton hosted Boston. Boston, one of the best teams in the East, proved it against one of the hottest teams in all of hockey, especially before the All-Star break, 6-5 in overtime themselves. Coming up tonight, Colorado travels to Detroit to take on the Red Wings. The Maple Leafs travel to Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. Vancouver travels to Seattle to take on the Kraken. Wow, I hate what just happened there. That was really awful. Ladies and gentlemen, I went to click on standings and my mouse hovered over something else, and then I got NFL. So the standings for the National Hockey League in the Western Conference Central: Stars, Avalanche, Jets, in that order. 76 points, 74 points for the Avalanche, 73 points for the Jets. The Stars 6-2-2, Avalanche 5-4-1, Winnipeg Jets 4-5-1. Colorado Avalanche 2-game winning streak. In the Pacific, with that loss to the Avalanche, the Canucks now only have a 10-point lead over the Vegas Golden Knights. LOL. They, however, are on a 3-game losing streak. They are 5-4-1. But that's good because the Vegas Golden Knights are also 5-4-1 in their last 10, and the Edmonton Oilers aren't that much better. They lost their last time out, and they're 6-3-1. The hottest team in the entire Western Conference are the Los Angeles Kings, who are 6-3-1 in their last 10 games. That includes a 4-game winning streak. They sit at 66 points, 2 points behind the Oilers. The Oilers sit 2 points behind the Golden Knights, 4th in the Pacific. The Kraken sit right behind the Kings with 57 points, which makes the second wild card seed very interesting, and I'll get to that in just un moment. Please let me do the Eastern Conference standings, since we are going down the home stretch in hockey, as it is almost March. The Bruins have 79 points in the Atlantic, followed by the Panthers with 78. Close race there. Then the Maple Leafs followed up with 7 points. Here's the deal, though. 2-game winning streak for the Bruins, 6-game winning streak for the Panthers, 9-1-0. 5-game winning streak for the Toronto Maple Leafs, 8-2-0. In the Metropolitan, the New York Rangers have 77 points, followed by the Carolina Hurricane, followed by the Philadelphia Flyers with 71 and 67 respectively. The New York Rangers are hot, 8-game winning streak, 8-1-1. Right behind them, the Hurricane, 3-game winning streak, 8-2-0. So a lot of good hockey is being played coming to the stretch. as the playoffs would shake out right now, if the season ended today, the Bruins, the Panthers, the Maple Leafs, the Rangers, the Hurricanes, the Flyers, those are your for sure. The wild card, 65 points sit the Tampa Bay Lightning. Red Wings have 64 points. Then 60 points sit the New Jersey Devils and the Islanders. Right behind them, 58 points are the Capitals. So a lot of teams kind of crammed in within 6 points of that final wild card spot in the East. Out West, the Stars, the Avalanche, the Jets, all in that order. I went over points already. Canucks, Knights, Oilers, went over points already. The wild card, Kings, 66 points, okay? They have a 6-point lead over the Blues with 60 points, and this is where it gets interesting. Tied with the Blues for 60 points are the Nashville Predators. 2 points behind them are the Minnesota Wild with 58. 3 points behind the Predators and the Blues sit the Kraken with 57 and the Calgary Flames with 57. Then there's a dramatic drop off to 50. So again, for that final wild card spot, 4 teams are within 3 points of each other. Much like that's a little more close together than the East, which it is like they got 4 teams within 6 points of each other. So hockey is going to be great down the stretch. NBA is starting again tonight, the second half of that season. Get that out of the way. But they're also coming down the stretch. They begin playoff basketball end of April, I believe. So basketball coming up right now. March basketball is going to be great. I can't wait to bring it to you. I'm going to have to start naming these the 15-minute sports report because that's closer, because none of these have been 10-minute. I like to talk. I like hearing the sound of my voice. Just kidding. I actually think the sound of my voice is quite garbage. And that will do it for today's rendition of the 10-minute sports report. As we get closer to playoff time, and then once we're in playoff time, I will probably go to every other day. As of right now, I just kind of like the rhythm I am in. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to wash those hands, you filthy animals. Remember, God loves you. I pray that God bless you. Wash those hands, and we will talk to you later. Peace out, everybody.